I've compiled a bit of a list of things that I've decided that in 2025 that I am going to not buy. This is about freeing yourself from a cycle of overconsumption so that you actually have more time, money, and space to do, be, and have the things that you actually do want and that do really light you up and align with your values. It's not hard to see that we live in a time where consumption is at an all-time high. We are constantly being sold to. There are so many trends and micro trends that we can get sucked into to believe that we need this product or this thing in order to be that girl or feel our best or be healthy and well. And while some of these products are incredible and being able to have access to these is exciting, I have been personally looking at my relationship with consumption. I never thought I was someone who had any kind of a shopping addiction or any real issue with spending. All my life, I have been quite frugal. Some would say maybe a bit tight, but somewhere along the lines, it changed. Now, I'm not saying I'm a crazy overspender or compulsive spender, but something I've noticed about myself is I hyperfixate on things that I feel as though I need. And I feel that I need these things in order to be my best self, in order to achieve a certain goal. And I just really started to think about how unnecessary that is, how untrue it is that a certain product, a certain purchase is going to make me any different. And I started to think about, okay, I really want to look at my spending and set some healthy boundaries because I don't want to contribute to the overconsumption that is plaguing us all, but I also want to be really mindful with my money, and not mindful in a way that comes from a place of scarcity and comes from a place of being really restrictive, but I want to have a new definition of financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't freely spending on every single thing that you see and want and wish for. Financial freedom is being able to have the option to do so, but mindfully choosing to spend in alignment with your values. At least that's what it is to me. I've compiled a bit of a list of things that I've decided that in 2025 and potentially beyond that I am going to not buy or be more intentional about purchasing this year. Number one is cheap/costume jewelry. The main reason for this is because my skin turns every jewelry piece that I own that isn't 100% sterling silver or gold green. It goes green, it goes disgusting. And while buying those giant packs of earrings from 𝙗𝙗 are exciting because there's so many options and they all look so cute, honestly, I think I get maybe 3 wears out of them and then they're disgusting, they're gross. I can't justify spending, even if it's only £15 for a pack, if that's only gonna last me like 2 or 3 wears. If you have skin that doesn't do that, keep buying the cheap jewelry by all means. But I've just noticed for me, this is something that no longer fits with my life. It's just not what I want to do. So I'm trying to be mindful about pieces that I'm investing in. This necklace was a mindful purchase. It was a little bit more than I thought I would spend, but I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces. This necklace is from the Cloth Project and it is gorgeous, my favorite thing. And neither of these pieces are costume pieces, but they are in constant rotation. I wear them almost every day and they haven't tarnished, and that's what I want out of my jewelry. So no longer consuming cheap tarnishable jewelry. The next thing I'm no longer spending money on is cheap intimates and socks. The intention behind this is because I am so sick of feeling so wasteful when I purchase a pair of underwear or purchase socks that last like a month. One, that's wasteful. I don't want to contribute to that amount of waste. I would rather be investing a little bit more on products that are going to last me a lot longer rather than cheap, crappy intimates that are going to end up in landfill within, a month of me wearing them. And also, I feel better when those particular pieces of clothing look and feel nice. no one wants to be wearing undies with like holes and stretches in them. That can happen, but I'd rather that happen like after years of me owning it, or even a year of me owning it, rather than like a couple of months. So that's what I am intending to do. No cheap undies, no cheap socks. And that doesn't mean the most expensive, but it just means like quality, lasting product and fabric. The next thing I'm being mindful about spending on is hobby/craft products. Recently, I have decided to start diving into different hobbies, especially ones that aren't tied to my business, because I just found that my life became work, and the joy that I get out of my hobbies is so immense that I kind of got a little bit of addicted and was like, oh, what else could I do? What else could I do? I started with crochet and I bought all this crochet stuff, and then I decided I wanted to do embroidery, and then I wanted to do clay and pottery. And while all of those things are so fun, and I'm not going to be completely not spending money on hobbies, what I'm deciding to do is just be a bit more intentional on, if I am going to start a new hobby, asking myself, is there a project that I still haven't finished? I have a crochet blanket that I have not touched in months, and I have started probably about 4 hobbies since then. So can I finish a project before starting a new hobby? Or can I purchase or borrow the bare minimum to just test the waters? Like, does someone that I know have pottery tools that I can use? Does someone that I know have like something that I can at least try and test whether I like this hobby, so I don't end up having, which I am slowly starting to create, a like box full of hobby things that is just like where hobbies go to die. I don't want to have that. So being more mindful, enjoying my hobbies and trying new things, but just trying to be mindful on not going, oh, I'm gonna do beaded jewelry, and buying every single conceivable tool that one could possibly ever need to do that. And instead going, can I buy like a tiny little bead pack, or can I borrow some beads from someone? The next one is something that I know that so many of us are gonna be able to relate to. It's lip balms and lip products. I cannot tell you how many lip balms I go through because I either lose them or because I wanna try a new one. And I have found the one that works for me. I'll put it up here because I can't remember the name of it, but I have found the lip balm that I love. And every time I try a new lip balm, it either disappoints me, I don't like the smell, I don't like the taste. I'm obviously not eating it, but you know, you get a little taste. And I just feel like I'm spending so much money, even though they're only cheap, maybe it's like £5. Think of how many lip balms you've bought in the past year, and then times that by however much you spent on them. It actually does end up being quite a lot, especially if you have products that you're only using a little bit of and then never using again. I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm being more mindful on repurchasing the lip products that I know work for me. And then if I really, really, really want to try it, it's like, does someone I know have one? Do I know someone personally that can vouch for this product? Or am I just giving into like a hype and a trend on social media that says that this lip balm is gonna make me, you know, more beautiful and bleh. No, I know what I like, and I'm gonna keep buying that. In the same vein as lip products, the next thing I am trying to be more mindful about spending on is makeup and skincare. You can't go on social media for longer than 2 minutes and not see a new product or skincare cream, lotion that's being pushed as the only thing you'll ever need. And then like a week later, there is a new product that is the only thing you'll ever need. It's very easy to overconsume in those 2 areas. If you love makeup and skincare and this is like your thing, keep buying it, keep trying, do all of the things. I am trying to be more mindful about only buying something new if it's replacing a product that I already have that's completely empty. And if I am trying something new, I don't already have something that fulfills that purpose, because I just don't want to have like multiples of things. I love having like one of everything when it comes to my makeup, and just knowing that when I travel, it's all going to fit in a very small bag, and it's also like takes the guesswork out for me. But I'm not a makeup girly. I like my makeup and my makeup products, but that's not the way that I am so inclined. So I totally understand that for some, this is like not feasible. But I do think that we could all be more mindful of using the product until it's empty, especially with our makeup and skincare, which is only supposed to last us so long. I'm guilty of using things well past their expiration date, but I do think that we waste so much product by buying the new next thing and not actually ever finishing that blush or that bronzer or that serum. I have like 5 serums in my bathroom that are opened. I've used them, but I haven't finished them, and I need to finish them before I buy another serum. The next item that I am not buying this year is water bottles / travel mugs. The reason being, a year ago, I think it was, became obsessed, like most white women in Australia, with the Frank Green water bottles. And I was so hyper fixated on this water bottle. I was like, this water bottle is so beautiful. It was my favorite shade of pink. I was like, I'm gonna drink so much water. I'm gonna be so hydrated. I'm gonna be my most well and fit self once I have this water bottle. I got said water bottle, loved it, used it so much, and then it started to get really scratched. And then I noticed myself going, I don't want to use it because it's like all dinged up and scratched and yuck. And then I thought about, okay, maybe I need to buy myself a new one. But that water bottle was an expensive water bottle. And also that water bottle is fulfilling its purpose. It's holding water. I can drink from it. It's fine. What I want to do instead of buying another water bottle is be more creative of, okay, well, if looking at the chipped paint makes me unhappy, and if you're thinking like, that's not a big deal, I understand that it's neurotic, but it does affect me. But instead of buying a new one, it's like, can I fix this? Can I repaint it? Or can I strip it of the paint and cover it in stickers? Or can I get over myself and just use the dinged up water bottle? Because at the end of the day, I bought that water bottle because I knew it was gonna last me forever. Sure, the outside, disappointingly so, has not withheld that promise. But the vessel itself, it lasts forever. And me buying a reusable water bottle and then throwing it away like a year later because it's a little bit scratched is defeating the purpose of a reusable water bottle. You know what I mean? So I am going to do with that what I will. Same with my travel coffee mug. Exact same thing happened. Beautiful pink. And then it had all these like paint chips coming off of it. And it just, I don't like it. I want it to be beautiful, but I also know that I purchased that so that it would keep my drinks warm and so that I wasn't using coffee cups like that were going to landfill. So it does the purpose. I will find creative ways with all of my 50 million hobbies to make them beautiful again, but I'm not spending money on water bottles, travel mugs, anything like that. This next thing is probably the hardest thing for me. And if I had said this a year ago, past me would have probably cried, because it is books. I love books. I love to read. When we moved from Australia to London, I had to leave a whole box of books with my mother. It broke my heart. I wanted to bring them all with me. My books are like my favorite things in the world. I don't feel right when I'm not surrounded by books, and my dream in life is to have like a floor to ceiling library in like a wall with like the ladder from Beauty and the Beast. I'm obsessed with books, but hear me out when I say I can no longer just be buying every single book that I want to read. I have a Kindle, and I got my Kindle reluctantly, and I'm now in love with it, but very reluctantly got my Kindle when I was traveling, and I just couldn't keep filling my duffel bag with books every time I was buying and reading and finishing books that I bought from the airport. So I have a Kindle. I also have just recently got a library card, and I have been going to the library and getting so many books. I've been reading more. I've been reading books that I never probably would have picked up because they're just available at my library. I'm able to read these books and have physical books around me, but they're not taking up space in my home and space in my mind of like, okay, now am I gonna have to part with these? Am I gonna have to like ship them somewhere if we ever move back or wherever we go next? So having a library card, having a Kindle, I don't really need to be buying new books. The exception to that is if I really, really love a book that I read from the library or on my Kindle, I will buy it for myself. Only if I really, really love it and think I'm either going to reread it or just would like to have it on my shelf. Following the same thread/theme, journals and notebooks. I have so many. I don't need to keep buying them. There are like 5 in my office right now that are empty and unused. I also have probably about the same amount that are half used, and I just keep buying them because I love stationery. I love stationery and books. So these two are very tricky for me, but they're something that I need to be more mindful of because I have so many notebooks already and I just don't want to have tons and tons and tons. If I have so many, I am then losing, where did I write this one down? Where is the note for that? Which notebook is this in? I don't want to do that. So I'm going to only buy notebooks when I use the ones I already have. I will be keeping a wish list so that I know which ones I really want. And when I do run out of notebooks, I will buy the ones that are on my wish list. But no one needs 50 million notebooks. I hate to break it to you if you're a stationery girl like me. I'll hold your hand when I say this. No one needs 50 notebooks. It's okay. Next, we're going to talk about clothing. Clothing is a big one because I think that we all have a tendency to spend a bit more than we maybe should on clothing. I know for me that I feel better when I buy clothes either secondhand from an op shop, charity shop, Depop, or Vinted, or any of those kinds of things. There's just something about it. I like it. I think it's more enjoyable, like the process. Being in a Uniqlo store, even though I love Uniqlo and I have stuff from Uniqlo, overstimulation, can't handle it. But going to an op shop, lovely. Scrolling on Depop, inspiring. Basically, I want to make a commitment to myself, no new clothes, meaning new, not new to me, but no new clothes from like an actual shop, unless it's like an essential staple. Like unless it's something that's like, I can't really get that secondhand and I really need it, I will get that new. But I just don't want to be participating in micro trends. I don't want to be buying stuff that's gonna go out of style or that I don't actually really want and need. So I feel like secondhand shopping for me is more fun anyway, and it helps more with that. And also I just feel that it's the more sustainable thing to do, and we all should be striving to do the more sustainable thing. The next thing that I don't want to be spending money on is mason jars or like aesthetic food containers. When we moved into this flat, I was so excited about buying these really cute mason jars that had this little lid and a little spoon holder for my chia puddings in the mornings. And I was like, that's so cute. I love that. I'm going to do that. I didn't end up buying them. And after a few weeks, I accumulated enough jars simply from like sauces, like pasta sauces, pesto, that sort of a thing, that I was like, I can just use this. If I can find something that fulfills the purpose that doesn't require me to buy it new, I'm going to do that. I just don't think that I need to be buying that on Amazon. Yes, it's obviously more aesthetic and it has a cute little lid, blah, blah, blah. But if I really wanted to, I could paint the lid. You know, I could add cute little labels. That's just like a simple switch that I'm just being a bit more mindful of, not falling into a trend. It's on Pinterest, it's gorgeous. Yeah, but I already have something that is technically free because I've already paid for the product that's inside the jar. Let's use the jar. Let's make an economic choice, a sustainable choice, and also could be a bit creative. Can I paint the lid? Can I add cute little details to it? It's not totally necessary, but might be fun. The final thing that I am not spending money on anymore is plastic shower loofahs. I recently purchased a plastic shower loofah after months of not having one because we were traveling, and it got so gross and moldy and yuck that I was like, this is feral. And then it obviously just goes straight in the bin. So I purchased a natural loofah. I cannot remember the exact name of what it is, but it's like a natural occurring, what's that word? Exfoliating sponge. Yes, they will still go moldy if you keep them wet and you keep them in your shower. But once they're moldy and you throw them out, they're biodegradable. It's not polluting the planet. And it's also the same sort of price point to a plastic one anyway. Natural loofahs all the way. Now, before I wrap up, I did want to talk about things that I will be spending money on, because I don't want this to feel like a video where I'm preaching to you about all the things that we should be not spending money on. This is just what I'm not spending money on for my life and my lifestyle and my values and choices. But I do want to still be spending money. This isn't me saying lock it all away and we're not to have fun. No. No. What I will still continue to spend money on is my nails, because even though it's technically not an essential, I talk a lot with my hands, if you haven't noticed. So I like to have what's flailing about in front of people's faces to look nice. I also just cannot express how happy it makes me to just look down at my hands and see these little works of art. I love to support my nail tech. I'm gonna tag her if you're in London. She is the best. This is just a treat to myself. It makes me feel more me. I'm not gonna stop spending money on it because it's something that makes me happy. And I'm gonna stop spending money in other places so that I can make room for this. I am also going to still be getting a sweet treat and a matcha on the weekend, because if I'm gonna go out with my friends, I wanna have a little sweet treat. I wanna have a little matcha. There's a cafe close to me that does banana bread with this espresso butter, and I simply will not deprive myself of this deliciousness for a treat on the weekend or once a week, because life is meant to be lived. I'm not gonna deprive myself of matcha and banana bread out of the home. I will make it here as much as I can, but meeting up with friends at a cafe, it's a whole vibe. It's a nice thing to do. So I will still be spending money on that. I will also still be spending money on experiences. This is a big one for this year, is prioritizing spending money on / investing in experiences, making memories rather than things. Because there are so many shows that I want to see, especially being in London. We have the West End, and there are so many things I want to see. There are so many cool gardens that I want to go view that are paid, but there are also so many things that are free. So I just want to be taking advantage of the experiences that I can have, whether it's free or paid, and just prioritize that over buying crap that I don't need and think that I need because social media told me. No. I will also still be buying a bunch of flowers every week to 2 weeks, because same with the nails, they just make me happy to look at, and it's something nice to do for myself. It's something that just makes the house feel beautiful. They make me so happy every time I look at them, so I will still be buying that. The final thing I want to leave you with is, this isn't about being restrictive. This isn't about being so dogmatic that you're constantly thinking about money or feeling restrictive. This is about freeing yourself from a cycle of overconsumption so that you actually have more time, money, and space to do, be, and have the things that you actually do want and that do really light you up and align with your values. So I hope this was helpful. I am going to do my best to stick to this. Of course, this isn't about perfection, progress over perfection. If you catch me on Instagram stories with one of these products, please don't judge me. I'd love to know what you are choosing to no longer spend money on, or at least choosing to be more mindful about spending money on. Let me know in the comments. Also, what are you going to continue to spend money on? Because I do think it's important to remember that it's not about just like, no, it's about what are we choosing to be mindful about so that we can have more of the things that we actually love. So let me know. Please like and subscribe if you found this enjoyable. I post new videos every single week. Follow me on Instagram at Jess_Carreri. All the links are below. I really appreciate you for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah.